Did you know that geese can mate with ducks?
So we got 3 geese, and we was hoping that we had 1 gander and 2 females. That wasn't the case. So now we got 2 ganders and 1 geese. So the ratio is out of whack, where one of the ganders is trying to mate, well, is mating and being very aggressive with one of our ducks. This gander, the one closest to us, doesn't like that hen, that female right there. So we're gonna get him some mates.
So how we're gonna fix this problem is we're getting 3 more geese. I wanted to just cull him for Christmas dinner, but he wants to solve it with more birds.
Wait a minute, you're the one that came up with this solution, and
No,
I disagreed.
no.
I disagreed. So therefore it's not
That
me.
is not true.
That
not
is true.
true.
That is true. That's the way it
I
goes.
wanted to get rid of him.
No.
Yeah.
Who, me?
I wanted to get rid. That might happen if we get more geese. 3 is a bit much for me. 6 is gonna be a lot.
But they're easy maintenance.
Yeah, but this group is gonna be 6 months old. They're not gonna have the bond with us that the little babies that we got to raise did. It's gonna be different. I am calculating that.
Okay. Well, I'm more optimistic. I think any animal can be trained. It just takes some time and patience. All right. So this is our plan. We're going to set up a temporary pen for the geese, the new geese, and we're going to have them in the coop for at least 3 days, and then in this area. Actually, we'll just have them in this area for two weeks. And then we'll introduce them into the Top Gun flight, and that way they'll know where that's going to be their new home. So hopefully this all works out, so we'll see.
Editing Tori here. I wanted to take a moment to explain who was bringing our birds. Our friend Curtis with Webfoot Farms. We met him actually back in May when we got our Welsh Harlequin birds in Ellis County. Then, as we got to know him, we realized that he doesn't actually live very far from us, and he has actually become a mentor to me. He's the one that helped guide and walk us through getting our NPIP certification, has helped us improve our incubator rates, our hatching rates with the information that he's been helping. So I consider him as a mentor, and he's always there and available to answer questions for me. And so I wanted you guys to know about what he has, because he actually shows his birds and he actually ships out eggs. So I wanted some information about that so you guys knew all about it. So we're going to put all of his information below if you're interested in all of the birds that he has. Do you have a list of people that are like waiting to get eggs, or like how soon should they contact you about getting Cayuga eggs or Welsh Harlequin eggs or the white runners? Like how soon should they be contacting you about getting those type of eggs?
Typically I will start a list in January because I work a full-time job, my wife works a full-time job. I want as little maintenance, keeping track of
I don't blame you
as possible. So I'll start in January. My list usually only runs about 3 weeks out, and then as I catch up, I'll start
filling those orders,
adding more people to the list. So, there's, unlike a lot of breeders will hold a 6-month wait list, and then if you don't get your order fulfilled that year, they'll either refund your money or you can be added to next year. I don't want that. Everybody that I talk to, I want them to be happy, like y'all. And get what they want.
Yeah.
You know, so it's more about, you know, helping sustain the farm that we have and provide back to them more than it is a money grab or you know, just doing whatever.
Yeah, just having a good reputation.
Yep.
And one of the things that we're curious about is being able to identify our birds separately, and leg bands is all we knew before.
Right.
And you were telling me about a toe punch thing, and Which is intriguing to me just because for safety reasons. I've heard leg bands can cause physical harm at some point and kind of compromise their safety.
If you don't keep up with the leg band on any of the grown birds.
Yeah.
Especially waterfowl since they grow so fast. It's an added step that, just like we talked about before, that you can save so much time.
Yeah.
Right? It's a one and done. You don't have to worry about injuring the bird's foot. You don't have to worry about it choking off any blood supply to the leg. And by all means, you can toe punch, and that's what this is. Looks like a little fingernail clipper, but it's just a little micro hole punch, and it pushes the skin of the foot, the webbing, through the hole.
How early do you do that?
I do it at day one.
Okay, so right after they're hatched out.
After they hatch, just to keep the different breeding pins. So like with the cayugas, if I'm running 3 different breeding pins, each hatch is coming from a certain pin, and each hatch gets a different marking.
Okay.
That way, if that different marking, I see more green sheen and size off of the one pin, I'm going to retain those and know exactly who they came from.
Yeah.
Right, so I can continue that line on.
The 3 geese that you brought us today, it would be better to leg band that group.
Leg band them.
Yeah. And only toe punch like our own baby hatch outs.
Yeah, like especially even if we, which I don't think we're going to be getting anytime soon, or.
And this would be only ones that we're keeping, like the ones that we're selling. Like we're selling most of our American breast chicks right now.
The American breast that you're going to sell, no need to do anything.
Okay.
Right, because that's on whatever they want to do. If they're just raising them to process,
let them
amount of birds,
own it, do it, whatever.
Do whatever. But as your breast flock grows, and you, let's say you have 2 and 3.
Yeah, this group that we have in our brooder right now, I want to be able to identify the ones that we're keeping. It's not going to matter the ones for me that we separate out for meat,
right,
because they're going to be in a different area, a different pen. Yeah. For me, that's not going to matter,
right,
because we're going to treat them differently.
Right. But all I'm saying is, when you hatch for you, and you have 3 different breeding flocks,
and it's merging into,
and you're, because like you see how I do my eggs. I mark all the eggs. I know what pen they came from. So when they go into the hatcher, they're separate. So I know who's who. That's when you would take breast pin 3 and put their tag on, and then breast pin 2 and do their ID tag, right? So
are you tagging or stamping each egg from each pen?
I will. Like, so during breeding season with the cayugas, last year I had 2 pins. So I had a C1 and C2. So whenever we pulled eggs, they were marked while you're still in the pen, because you know how egg baskets go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we know.
To go collect eggs, it was an egg basket and a Sharpie.
Okay.
Right, and you go into C1 and you mark those eggs with C1, put them in the basket.
And that doesn't affect. We had some a subscriber try to tell us that a marker.
Sure you use a pencil because you'll get lead poison, you're killed off the chicks, and all this other stuff.
You can. Sharpies are non-toxic.
I'm like, there's poop on the outside of it.
It's not like the old school Sharpies where everybody in the room, when you pop the cap off, was trying to sniff it.
You can't get high off those fumes anymore.
At least not as much.
And to go further than that with the Sharpie, if you mark an egg with a Sharpie, and then, like, because I inspect all the eggs that don't hatch just to see what happened, humidity, or at what point in time they died in the incubator, you can see no Sharpie inside the egg.
Okay.
It's not on the inside membrane. It's not even on the inside part of the shell.
This is valuable to hear, because you've been doing this for how long?
This will be 5 years.
Yeah.
Like doing it.
So after talking with Curtis, because originally you were thinking just 2 weeks separated before merging them, which he agrees with, 2 week separation. But what has changed is we were, after 2 weeks, going to like merge them like all together. But Curtis thinks and I think after thinking about it, we agree, is to take the less dominant male, put him in with them, and take one of these new females and put it with the other group, and still keep them. I didn't catch on how long we should do that for.
About 2 to 3 days.
And then merge them all together so that some bonds can be created.
Yeah, so that's what we'll end up doing, and that's going to help them adjust a lot more. And already I can see it's going to help having these 3 geese, additional geese to the flock, because now the original geese, they just left the other ducks alone, and this is going to help Blanche and Rose out a lot from getting picked on. They can be with their kind, and eventually they'll get all together again and be bonding, because the big gander, he's like their protector of the smaller ducks and whatnot.
He's the dominant one.
Yeah, but he's not as aggressive.
So, I mean, we can tell immediately that they are very taken and distracted with them. They're just following them up and down the fence line. I think it'll give them some exercise, if anything, right now, because they're just very interested in each other right now. This isn't the first time that we are doing something that we're just really not sure about. We don't know if we're doing the right thing or not. The last video that we did an experiment was when we actually considered free-ranging our birds. We'll put that video off to the side and in the show notes below.